Hey yo interneters, welcome back to another video. And so today we're gonna be learning the power pass. And so I want to take a quick moment to thank everyone for leaving suggestions down in the comments below. I have quite a few of them to get to. And so I don't know exactly when I'll be able to get to all of these comments or suggestions, but I'll do my very best to finish out all of these suggestions that I have ASAP. And so I do hope to see more suggestions down in the comments below because I would love to see what you guys are interested in seeing me learn next. With that being said, we'll just get right into the video. For those of you who do not know what a power pass is, here's a clip of Pin Spinning Central doing the power pass. If you haven't done so already, go check out Pin Spinning Central channel out. He has a lot of pin spinning tricks on there, and I'll leave a link down to his channel in the description below. Basically, how the power pass work is, you want to take the pin and you hold it between your thumb and your index finger. You want to hold it slightly below the center line of your pin or pin mod. And so each pin mod has a slightly different center line. And how you know where the center line of your pin mod is, you want to take the pin and you could balance it on one of your fingers. And once you find this perfect balance spot on your pin mod, that's where your center line is. So once you get that, you just hold slightly below it, and from there you want to do like a reverse neosonic. And you pay attention to how I'm not doing the neosonic like how you usually would and having the palm on the side, but I'm having it like my palm up and I'm just turning the pin over and doing a reverse neosonic. And so when you're doing a reverse neosonic, you'll have the pin spin on top of your index finger and it'll roll on top of your index finger as you bend down your index finger. From there you take your middle finger and you lift it up and slightly tap the back of the pin. And when you tap the back of the pin should roll on top of your middle finger and spin around your middle finger. And don't forget to bend down your middle finger as this happens so that it could spin over it. And so from there you'll catch it or have it go in the same position like you did with the middle finger but with the ring finger. And from there you just do a slight tap of the pin and it should spin on top of your ring finger and go over to your pinky, and you just have to catch it. And so once I understand how the power pass works, I began the practice. And so, yeah, I know what you're thinking, like that looks nothing like the power pass at all. And you're absolutely right. That doesn't look the power pass at all. Yet. Let me explain myself before you start to judge me. So what I was trying to do was I was trying to do a reverse neosonic and getting used to getting the pin to roll over and on top of my index finger and catching it with my middle finger. I decided that it's best to break down this trick into smaller sections to practice each finger so that way you can isolate each move and see where's your strong and weak point. And so I spent a good deal trying to get this down, and I think I spent close to about 30 minutes doing this. Here's how it looks like once I got comfortable with spinning the pin over my index finger and catching it with my middle finger. And so now it's time to move on to the next finger, which is the middle finger. So this is where the trick's starting to get tricky because you have to carry the momentum caused by your reverse neosonic you did with your index finger and continue that momentum over your middle finger. And so this was hard because I wasn't used to the motion and the pin kept getting stuck between my index and my middle finger just because my middle finger wasn't used to that motion. And so I continued to practice this and there was not that much progress, and I spent a total about 30 minutes. And so at this point I was wondering, is there any way that I can try to isolate this move so that I can just practice to get my middle finger used to spinning it over on top of the middle finger. And so one of the ways that I found to help isolate this middle finger trick was I started off by taking the pin and placing it between my index and middle finger. And from there I made sure that most of the weight of the pin is towards the left side, which is over here. And from there I just push the pin with my middle finger and I try to get it to spin over and on top of the middle finger. Here's a different angle so that you can see what it looks like when I manage to get the pin to pass my middle finger. And so at this point I'm feeling pretty good about myself. You know, I managed to get the pin to pass my index finger and into my middle finger and spinning past my middle finger pretty smoothly, and I managed to do it in about an hour and 15 minutes, right? And so I'm about halfway done basically because I only got my ring finger and my pinky finger left, right? And so that's what I thought. And so if you watch my other video, you know that my ring finger and my pinky finger is very weak and I have almost no control over them. And so like basically to show you, when I'm trying to bend down my ring finger, I'm able to do it. But then when I'm trying to bend down my pinky, I can't. My ring finger moves along with it. So, and also my middle finger moves slightly. So it's very weak and I don't have much control over them. And basically why I'm telling you this is because that eventually caused a big problem for me when learning the power pass and any other type of tricks that will involve these two fingers. I'm pretty sure you're wondering like how bad was the problem? And well, let me break that down for you. So starting off to try to get the movement down or to have the pin spin over my ring finger, it's not that big of a deal, right? I'm confident in myself and I'm facing issues that I am with my middle finger. And so I thought that this was really normal, and it is when you're first learning the power pass, but then stuff started to pop up and I'm starting to have a lot of red flags. And one of that was I'm extremely and highly struggling with controlling the movement of my ring finger, and that affected the pin movement a lot. And so by this point 2 hours passed and I didn't have any progress whatsoever, and I ran into a lot of problems. Outside of me having extreme difficulties controlling my pinky or the movement of my ring fingers as well, these were the issues that I faced. So the first problem happened when I tried to do the power pass, and right when the pin get to the point where you could push it with your ring finger, I would get the pin stuck because my middle finger is on top of my ring finger, and it's supposed to be the other way around. The ring finger on top of the middle finger. And so the second problem I face the most, and that problem is when I'm doing the power pass, and keep in mind that I have no much control over my ring and pinky. And so right when the pin gets to the point where you're supposed to push it with your ring finger, my brain is telling my ring finger to push it, right? It's telling it to push the pin so it could roll over your middle finger. But the thing was, my ring finger wasn't even trying to push. It didn't even move at all. It didn't listen to my brain. And so what happened was the pin would just roll over my ring finger and go right between my pinky, and I'm able to catch it that way. And so the third problem, and this happens like sort of a lot but not much, but this was one of the common problems, right? When I need to catch the pin, I couldn't catch the pin. And so yeah, that happens too. And so there was just like many problems that I was struggling with when I'm trying to get the pin to spin over my ring and catching it with my pinky. And so there were some things that I did to try to help alleviate or try to fix these problems, like setting up the pin in position to where your ring finger needs to start pushing it so the pin could spin around your ring finger. And so basically I try to set that up and then just try to push down the pin with my ring finger in any type of way to have the pin spin on top of my ring finger. And that's all I wanted to do and build muscle memory for this. And so also I tried to begin to bend down my ring finger independently and try to get all of my other fingers to stay as straight as possible. And I would bend it up and down my ring finger so I could build up its muscle strength. And so whenever my finger starts to hurt, I take a few minutes break and get back at it again. And when I do this, I also try to incorporate my pinky motion. Like I try to spread it out as much as I can while bending down my ring finger, so that way it could, learn how to catch the pin when it needs to catch the pin. Did doing any of this helped? And I would say it kinda did, but not really. Like when I was bending down my my ring finger and stuff, like it felt a little bit easier to move and it felt like stretched out, so that was good. It wasn't feeling as tight, and so I had a little bit more movement after that. And also when I was practicing with the pin being in position to start being pushed with the ring finger, it kind of helped me like slightly. And so I continue to try to get this power pass down with the ring finger. At this point, nothing seems to work. When I'm doing the trick on my ring finger, I try to look at it, I focus on it to see what I'm doing wrong or if I'm doing anything wrong. I try to hold the pin at different angles or turning my wrist and palm at different angles to see if that will help. I even try to look up tips and tricks on how to do the power pass, and there were like basically no videos out there that I could personally find that would help me with this issue that I'm facing. By this point, I tried everything. There was barely any progress in this whole time frame that I was trying to learn the power pass just for my ring finger and my pinky. I hate to say these words because I already spent a total of roughly 9 hours or more trying to learn the power pass, but it's just not getting to the point where I can do it with my pinky and my ring finger. As much as I don't want to do this, and as much as I don't want to say this, it looks like I have to for this trick, the power pass specifically. And so I need to practice a lot more. And so for the next 5 hours, I spent practicing trying to get the pin over my ring finger and then catching it with my pinky. And eventually, I was able to get the consistency down to spin the pin over after 5 hours. And then, once that's the case, I practiced for a little bit more and I managed to get the consistency down, and I'm able to catch the pin every now and then. And so with the consistency of getting the pin to spin over my ring finger and catching the pin every now and then I just did a quick adjustment with the pin. And basically what I did was I started to hold the pin more horizontally in the beginning when I'm doing the reverse neosonic to my middle finger and my ring finger, and that was when I began to have the consistency of doing the power pass more smoothly and being able to catch it more with my pinky. Here's how the power pass looked. And so I spent the total of 15 hours, 30 minutes, and 39 seconds before I'm able to learn how to do the power pass. And keep in mind, like roughly 14 hours of it was just for the pinky and for the ring finger, and that's because I struggle with those two fingers alone. And yeah, an hour and 15 was just for the index and middle finger. And I dropped the pin 12,064 times. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And like always, thanks for watching, and until next time.